This is highly venomous tarantula. Here in front of me I have one enclosure that was actually an experiment, because you see I have quite a lot of substrate inside. Unlike other enclosures of mine, this one takes a lot of substrate, and the reason for that is inside I have a fossorial tarantula, which means a tarantula that lives exclusively under a thick layer of substrate. It buries deeply, and you see this hole goes way down. If I turn the enclosure, you can see the tunnel stretches all the way to the bottom of the enclosure and even turns to front. So from here all the way to the entrance right here. This is the proper way of keeping a fossorial tarantula, even though they can be kept in far less substrate. But the problem with that is tarantulas, especially Asian burrowers, they will get really defensive when you open an enclosure that exposes them to outside elements. It is not a rule, but it almost always happens. And when you keep them like this, downside is you won't be able to see tarantula as often. But if the tarantula is outside, which still happens, when she's hungry during the night, I will often find her here on the edge of the tunnel waiting for the prey to approach. So you can still see the tarantula, but not as often. But if you disturb her with like opening the door or watering the enclosure, she will just quickly retreat to her tunnel where she feels secured, and you won't be dealing with any threat postures, unless that is what you want to see. Then this setup is not for you, because so far I never received a threat posture from her, because she always just ran down. But even when tarantula is not outside, I can still enjoy this enclosure because it is so lush. The plant is just enjoying the environment and I'm loving it. The only downside is I have this kinda ugly background. So with the lesson learned from this enclosure, from this successful enclosure, I built two more enclosures that are of the same size. You see this one that got a lot of substrate space, but this time I got a proper background that is far prettier than the one that I used in that one. And that means that we are going to rehouse two more fossorial tarantulas in those enclosures. So yeah, this was a pretty long intro, the longest one ever, but yeah, whatever, let's go! But before we start with that, I have one important thing to say, because for the first time ever in the history of the Dark Den, I just killed a small fly, in the history of the Dark Den, so that means in more than 6 years of making videos, for the first time I have a sponsor of today's video. And it is not Honey or NordVPN or Keeps, even though I would maybe need a bit of Keeps for my hair. It is not Raid Shadow Legends or any other random sponsor that got nothing to do with the theme of this channel. It is actually something that I find really useful, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you watching these videos will find useful. It is a company that is called SwitchBot. They make smart home devices like this indoor camera, or something that is far more interesting to me, like this metering device that is measuring temperature and humidity. It connects to your cell phone through the app, and at any given time you can check the perimeters. It is so small, so you can put it inside of enclosures, you can put it inside of your animal room or whatever, and you can set the perimeters to get a notification if it is too warm or if it is too wet or too dry, so it lets you know when something is wrong. And the best thing is they are kind of cheap. You can get a standalone device like this one that you can connect through Bluetooth to your cell phone, but if you want to check the perimeters when you are away from your house, when you are too far away from the device, then you need one small hub that connects to a Wi-Fi, and then you can connect to the device through that hub, and you can also connect to the camera. And also one other thing that I got this contact sensor, which will make sure that you never forget to close the door of your enclosure. I actually got them on the door that leads into my house, so if I forget to close that door after 5 minutes of doors being open or whatever time you set, I get a notification that I didn't close that door, so it makes my life a bit easier. You can also put it on the enclosure, so if you have some dangerous animal and you are kind of forgetful, like I can sometimes be, then you can help yourself with something like that. Also, I don't have any script of what to say, and they didn't tell me what I need to say and how I need to say anything. They just reached out to me and said that they got these products that they think I would be interested, and this is something that I wanted to get for myself anyway, so it's a win-win situation. They sent me 6 of these. Actually, these are their older units. They are smaller, you see, and they don't have a standing feet like this one. You see, you can just stand like this. This one doesn't have that. You got something to stick it over there. So anyhow, this one is newer version and it is a bit more refined, but this one got the same function and it is a bit smaller, so you can put it in your enclosure a bit easier. But I don't think that they are waterproof, so you cannot really put it inside of enclosure that is at the place where it can be misted directly. So yeah, be sure to avoid that. If you're interested in these products, there is a link in the description. You can check it out and get them for yourself. So far I am really enjoying them. The only downside is their app can sometimes be a bit laggy, so you need to open and close it multiple times before you get the reading of your devices. But other than that, I really like it. You see, I have a camera inside of Despacito's enclosure, and this is actually a live view where you can see Despacito is sleeping because the lights are turned off, and yeah, it is infrared, so you can see in the darkness. Camera is also pretty small, you see, pretty small. You have a stand, this, and you just put it on a stand and mount it wherever you want. You can put it like this, and also you can put it like this on a wall, you see. Yeah, pretty neat devices. So far I put 1 camera in Despacito's enclosure, but I have 3 more in total, so I will probably put it inside of this huge junglearium behind me once I finish it, and maybe I can put it in Chip's enclosure or maybe Thor's enclosure, or if I want to see what some tarantula is doing, because it can be triggered on motion, so you can get a notification when tarantula comes out of its burrow. So pretty neat stuff, As I said, links are in the description. Check them out. Now let's get down to business. So first things first, we need to dump a lot of substrate inside. Easy, right? It is when you have a lot of substrate at your disposal. But a few hours ago I didn't have that, so I had to mix a new batch, a brand new batch. It is my standard mix of cocoa fiber, potting soil, and peat moss in equal parts. 1 bucket of peat moss, 1 bucket of cocoa fiber, and 1 bucket of potting soil. That's the one. So now that we added the substrate, we compress it, but not too much, just enough so it's not super fluffy, but still to make it soft enough so tarantula can easily dig through it in one night. I put a bit more to the side like this, then I take 1 flat cork bark and squeeze it all the way down like this and make a hole under that cork bark. As you can probably guess it already, this way we are making a starter burrow for tarantula. That way we can control in which direction tarantula will dig. That looks something like this. Normally now I would add plants, I would add leaf litter, sand for the texture, springtails and all that stuff, but we are going to do things differently now. Since this is a Fossorial tarantula, she will dig a lot, which means that she needs to put that substrate somewhere. And usually it is in front of the enclosure, I mean in front of her entrance. If I planted the plants, if I put the leaf litter, all of that would be covered with fresh substrate in 1 or 2 days. So there is really no point in doing that before tarantula actually digs her tunnel. So I will also now set up the other enclosure. We are going to move the tarantulas, and then I will set up the camera and try to record a time-lapse of them digging their tunnels during 1 or 2 days. And then after that we are going to remove that excess substrate and add all the goodies to the enclosure. So yeah, that will be the twist of this video. And the best thing of this video is, since there are 2 tarantulas that I'm going to record in the time-lapse, our chances of getting a good time-lapse are doubled, which is pretty neat. This hole will be on the other side. Okay, we are ready for the tarantulas. First we will be rehousing a cyriopagopus minax. It is the same tarantula as in this enclosure that I showed you at the beginning of the video, but this one is a male, while this one in the first enclosure it is a female. You see, even in this relatively shallow plastic container I added a lot of substrate, which enables tarantula to make a hole over there so the guy can also retreat in his tunnel. And that is exactly that he did. But we will need to open that tunnel, so most likely we will get a chance to see a threat posture or 2. I think that easiest way to reach him will be to dig him out, if If you check the side of the enclosure, you see he's right there. So maybe I can actually dig from here. We got a bit of movement. Yeah, he is twitching a bit. He will be exposed now. There he is. Hopefully he won't bolt like crazy. But oof, I got the solution for that. Oh, flawless, you see? Easy peasy. Now I just simply unscrew this and mind my fingers. This is highly venomous tarantula. Ooh. Ketchup is ready. I got a solution for every situation, not a problem. You can climb up, yes, and we do it this way. Let's go, little guy. You just need to turn and bolt straight into your new hide, yeah, which is exactly what he did, you see? Down there in the pre-made burrow. This is also the reason why you want to make a pre-made burrow. Most often tarantula will bolt straight into that hole, and that way you are safe. It won't turn around and run out of the enclosure. It can be so much easier that way. Now the second tarantula, it is a bit bigger, and she will most likely need to be rehoused into bigger enclosure in like 2 months, but since I don't have a bigger version of this one will do. The fact that she's already outside like this should make this rehouse even more easier. So, pokey. Oh yeah. Not a threat posture, but a bite, immediate bite. She thought that this is food for her. No, it is not a food for you. Oh, there we go. I was hoping for at least one threat posture. But now, can you... Yeah, threat postures are sometimes harder to handle because tarantula don't want to move in the cup or anywhere. So mad, she's so mad. Can't really blame her, right? We are the intruders and messing with her. But let me push you with my camera a bit. That was almost a mistake. Here you go. You don't really need to be so dramatic. There is a new hide right in front of you, so all you need to do is bolt. I'll set it like this and try to poke her through this hole, but most likely, yeah, she will just turn. But now maybe I can take the... Oh, such an angry, so angry. Whoa. Hey, you little daisy flower, a blue daisy flower. We are done with these shenanigans. You can enjoy your new home. You now get a chance to decorate it as you like, as you wish. So I'm going to close the door and we will try to do a nice time lapse. So let's go. Alright, that was not terrible, but also not that great. I mean, it's alright, it's alright. This guy was super lazy, so he didn't dig at all, but at least he pooped 3 times, you see, once, twice, and here's the 3rd time. That was at least funny. Now, on the other hand, Cyriopagopus lividus Thankfully, she was super active and she dug quite a lot, even though on the surface it doesn't seem that she dug that much. You will see on the side once I will be setting up the enclosure, I mean once I will be planting the plants, she actually dug all the way down, which is a great thing. Also, I have another important announcement. This Friday, if you are watching this video on time, this Friday I will be hosting a first ever Dark Den live stream. Finally I have all the equipment ready and it should be epic. So make sure to tune in. I will be posting about it on Instagram and Facebook. So if you are following me there, you will know everything, and also I will post on the YouTube post thingy. So in case you don't have those social medias, you will still be able to see when it's going down. It will still go down. I mean, I will start the stream at the same time when the regular video drops. So it's 9 p.m. my time, and it is, I don't know. Now look at the tunnel, you see? It goes all the way down. She's already on the bottom, which is great. I'm loving this. She will most likely now continue moving forward. I mean, digging forward. That means there will be more substrate outside, but it will be fine for plants. I will plant them in the back. I will be using plants from this enclosure, so it means I need to cut them out a bit. They are super crowded here on front, so I think it will be better for the plant anyway. And if I sound a bit different, my throat hurts, so yeah, that's what's up. But I tested myself to be sure that I don't have the thing that we won't be naming in this video. I will just place it on the substrate and hopefully that will do the trick. It was quite successful in this enclosure, as you can tell. There, that should do it. I will water them a bit later. Now the other enclosure, this enclosure will get a standard pothos plant, you see. Nothing fancy. And a tiny bit sand for the texture. Ooh, and leaf litter. Just a little bit. And also in this enclosure. Now we are done. They look pretty nice and I hope that tarantulas will enjoy them, just as I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to thumbs it up and comment something. If you want to support this channel even more, there's a Patreon page, there's also a merch page. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I upload every Monday, so see you again in a week. Oh no, not in a week. If you will be watching live stream, see you again in 4 days, right? So pretty soon. Bye.